In the deep forests of Middle-earth, there are beings as ancient as the mountains, spirits of the wild who watch the world take shape before the coming of elves, men, and even the Dark Lord himself. Tom Bombadil and the Ents. One is an enigma, a carefree wanderer untouched by the evils of the world. The other, the shepherds of the trees, created to protect Yavanna's forests from the axes of mortal greed. They are both ancient, yet somehow separate from the struggles of Middle-earth. But could there be a deeper connection between them? Why does Treebeard, one of the oldest beings in Arda, call Tom Bombadil Eldest? How does Bombadil command the trees of the old forest as if they were his own? And could he be something far older than even the Ents themselves? Today, we unravel one of Middle-earth's greatest mysteries, the strange and forgotten connection between Tom Bombadil and the Ents. To understand Tom Bombadil's possible link to the Ents, we first need to examine his dominion over the Old Forest, a place unlike any other in Middle-earth. The Old Forest is ancient, wild and untamed, its trees possessing an almost malevolent will of their own. The hobbits, wary of its shifting paths and whispering branches, believe it to be alive, harboring a deep and lingering hatred for those who intrude. And they are not wrong. Tolkien tells us, the trees do not like strangers. They watch you. They are usually content merely to watch you, as long as daylight lasts, and don't do much. Occasionally, the most unfriendly ones may drop a branch, or stick out a root, or grasp at you with a long trailer. But there is one exception, one being who walks these woods without fear, Tom Bombadil. The trees bow to his song. The great willow, Old Man Willow, who strangles and drowns unwary travelers, falls silent at his command. When Merry and Pippin are trapped within the gnarled roots of the ancient tree, it is Bombadil's voice that sends it trembling into submission. You let them out again, Old Man Willow. What be you a-thinking of? You should not be waking. Eat earth, dig deep, drink water, go to sleep. And just like that, the will of the old forest bends. This is no ordinary magic, nor is it mere luck. Tom Bombadil does not fight the trees, nor does he manipulate them. He simply is. He sings, and the world around him obeys. But what does this mean? Could this strange power be linked to the Ents, the great shepherds of the trees? For if the Ents were created to protect the forests, then what exactly is Tom Bombadil? Treebeard is the oldest living Ent, a being shaped by the Valar themselves to safeguard the forests of Middle-earth. He has seen empires rise and fall, witnessed the wrath of Morgoth, and outlived even the most ancient of elves. Yet when he speaks of Tom Bombadil, there is no challenge, no doubt, only recognition. Bombadil is Eldest. Eldest, that's what he is. Tom was here before the rivers and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn. Treebeard, wise and slow to judge, does not claim this title for himself. Instead, he acknowledges Tom as a being older than the trees, older than the rivers, so ancient that he remembers the world before it had even taken shape. But how can this be? The Ents were awakened in the First Age by Yavanna, created to guard the forests against the axes of dwarves and men. And yet, Bombadil's existence predates even them. Could he have been part of Middle-earth before the Valar shaped its lands? A remnant of the music of the Ainur, untouched by the struggles of the world? Or is he something even older, something tied to the very essence of nature itself? The Ents and Bombadil share a deep connection to the forests, but while the Ents were made to protect, Bombadil simply is. Unlike the Ents, who war against Saruman's machines, Tom does not fight, nor does he interfere. He walks, he sings, he watches, but he never seeks to control. And perhaps that is why he is so different. The Ents belong to the world, but Bombadil might be something the world itself belongs to. But how can this be? The Ents were awakened in the First Age by Yavanna, created to guard the forests against the axes of dwarves and men. And yet, Bombadil's existence predates even them. Could he have been part of Middle-earth before the Valar shaped its lands? A remnant of the music of the Ainur, untouched by the struggles of the world? Or is he something even older, something tied to the very essence of nature itself? The Ents and Bombadil share a deep connection to the forests, but while the Ents were made to protect, Bombadil simply is. Unlike the Ents, who war against Saruman's machines, Tom does not fight, nor does he interfere. He walks, he sings, he watches, but he never seeks to control. And perhaps that is why he is so different. The Ents belong to the world, but Bombadil might be something the world itself belongs to. At first glance, Tom Bombadil and the Ents seem to share a kindred nature. Both are deeply connected to the land, both are ancient beyond reckoning, and both exist outside the affairs of elves, men, and even the wars of Morgoth and Sauron. But beneath the surface, their differences raise even more questions. The Ents are bound to the forests. They are its shepherds, its protectors, its very voice. Likewise, Bombadil holds dominion over the old forest, not by force, but by his very nature. As Goldberry says, he is the master. The Ents measure time in the slow growth of trees, speaking of ages as if they were fleeting moments. Bombadil, on the other hand, exists entirely outside of time, unconcerned with change, decay, or even the passing of great events. The Ents resist the influence of Sauron, even when Saruman's voice seeks to sway them. Bombadil, however, takes this a step further. When Frodo offers him the One Ring, he simply plays with it, untempted and unmarked. The ring holds no power over him, nor does he hold power over it. He took it and turned it round and round between his fingers, and then suddenly he put it to his eye and laughed. But if Bombadil is like the Ents, why is he so different? The Ents were shaped by Yavanna, given speech and thought to protect the forests from destruction. They have a mission, a reason for being. But Bombadil, he has no purpose, no task, no goal. He simply is. Treebeard longs for the Entwives, he mourns the destruction of Fangorn, and he rages against Saruman. Bombadil, on the other hand, remains untouched by grief or loss, never interfering even as the world changes around him. When Saruman's orcs lay waste to Fangorn, the Ents rise in wrath, marching upon Isengard with fury that shakes the world. But Bombadil, he does not fight, even when the ring, the greatest threat to Middle-earth, passes into his hands. As Elrond says, he would not understand the need. If he were given the ring, he would soon forget it, or most likely throw it away. Such things have no hold on his mind. Treebeard speaks of ages past with the weight of time pressing upon him. He is old and he feels it. Bombadil, however, remains unchanged. He sings, he dances, he laughs as if the world has never known sorrow. Could it be that, unlike the Ents, Bombadil is not merely old, but outside of time itself? So what then is Bombadil's relationship to the Ents? Is he their forefather, a being from before even Yavanna shaped them? Is he a kindred spirit, an entity of nature untouched by time and war? Or is he something else entirely, something Middle-earth itself cannot define? Even the wisest beings of Arda do not know the answer. But one thing remains certain. When Treebeard calls him Eldest, he speaks the truth. And perhaps, in the deep places of the world, the trees still whisper his name. If Tom Bombadil was here before the trees, before the rivers, before even the shaping of the lands, then what exactly is he? Some believe he is a Maya, an ancient spirit of the world like Gandalf, Saruman, or Sauron. Others think he is something far older, a remnant of the music of the Ainur itself, woven into Middle-earth before even the Valar descended upon it. But one of the most intriguing theories is that Tom Bombadil was once meant to be something more, a guardian of Middle-earth bound to its lands, yet entirely separate from its struggles. In the Silmarillion, we learn that before the shaping of the world, Yavanna, the Vala of nature, pleaded for her forests to be protected. She feared that dwarves and men would destroy them, that her creations would be left defenseless. Manwe, the king of the Vala, reassured her, "When the children awake, then the thought of Yavanna shall awake also, and it shall summon spirits from afar. And they will go among the Kelvar and the Olvar, and some will dwell therein, and be held in reverence." From this came the Ents, the guardians of the trees, the great shepherds of the forests. But could Bombadil have been something similar? A being called into the world, not to rule or to fight, but simply to exist, to be a witness to the land as it changed. There is one key difference between Bombadil and every other creature in Middle-earth. Everything else, elves, men, dwarves, Ents, even the Vala, exists within the struggles of the world. They change, they suffer, they fight, and they fade. But Bombadil does not. He is untouched by the passing of time, by the corruption of the Dark Lords, by the great conflicts of history. He does not try to alter the world, nor does the world alter him. Could this mean that Bombadil was never part of the world at all, but instead a remnant of something that came before it? The Ainur, the spirits who shaped the world, first brought Middle-earth into being through a great song, the music of the Ainur. This music wove the very fabric of Arda, creating its lands, its people, its fate. What if Bombadil is not a Maya, nor a guardian, nor even an ordinary spirit, but a living piece of that original song? A being not bound by the rules of the world, because he is something outside of them. Gandalf himself hints at this mystery when he tells Frodo, "And now he is withdrawn into a little land, within bounds that he has set, though none can see them, waiting perhaps for a change of days, and he will not step beyond them." Waiting, watching, unchanged, like an echo of the music itself. In the end, we may never know the full truth of Tom Bombadil. Even Tolkien himself, when asked who Bombadil really was, simply said, "He is." Perhaps that is the answer. He is the master of wood, water, and hill. He is eldest. He is untouched by the darkness of the world. And whether he is a forgotten guardian, a lost echo of the music, or something beyond even the understanding of the Vala, he remains the greatest mystery of Middle-earth. And maybe, just maybe, that is how it was always meant to be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to like and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.